TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israel vigorously enforces the ceasefire deal with Lebanon, striking at Hezbollah over a dozen times over repeated violations. IDF Northern Command Commander Major General Gordin stresses that Israel's forces stand at the ready in the event that the fragile ceasefire in Lebanon collapses. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu notes that Israel closely monitors the developments in Syria as Turkish-backed forces gain ground versus the Russian and Iranian-backed Assad Regime. Israel doubled down on its warnings to Lebanon, stressing that any breach by the Iranian proxy Hezbollah would be met with a decisive response. The heavily battered Iranian proxies, whose leader Naim Qassem was believed to have fled Lebanon to Iran during the height of the war, held a televised address to his followers claiming that Hezbollah achieved victory versus Israel despite all facts to the contrary.
We meet today in an atmosphere of victory and divine success. I have decided to announce, as a result of the battle of the courageous and an official and clear war, that we are facing a great victory that surpasses the victory that occurred in July 2006 due to the long duration, the ferocity of the battle, and the great sacrifices. There were also hordes of enemies with all the American and Western support.
Qassem, whose three predecessors were eliminated by Israel, went on to highlight that Hezbollah decided to accept the Lebanese-Israeli ceasefire arrangement despite repeated violations by the terror group's operatives since the very first day since the agreement was announced.
Thanks to Allah, the coordination between the resistance and the Lebanese army will be high-level coordination to implement the obligations of the agreement. No one should bet on problems or disagreements. Our view of the Lebanese army is that it is a national army, and its leadership, officers, and personnel, and it will be deployed in its homeland, our homeland. These are our sons who are carrying out a sacred mission, which is to maintain security in Lebanon and maintain security on the borders with the Israeli enemy.
It is important to note that the IDF launched over a dozen aerial strikes over the weekend, targeting Hezbollah terror operatives who were in violation of the ceasefire's outline. And while Hezbollah claimed victory over the mere fact that it survived Israel's limited offensive, that after the Biden administration forced Israel to accept the terms of the ceasefire outline, despite the IDF gaining the upper hand over Iran's most potent proxy.
This agreement is the result of months of fighting, particularly the last 3 months. Many achievements have been made in Lebanon: intense work, determined efforts, eliminating the entire senior echelon and all the commanders. We must remember this. Think back, from Jawad al-Tal at the beginning of January and onward, all the targeted eliminations, all the strikes, the entire chain of command. We are now moving toward a new phase, where the same determination that brought us to this agreement will be applied in enforcement. We know precisely that Hezbollah reached this agreement from a position of necessity and weakness. With the same power we used to secure the agreement, we will now enforce it, no less so.
IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi further emphasized the importance of enforcing the ceasefire's outline vigorously, particularly for the sake of Israel's displaced northern residents.
Any deviation from this agreement will be enforced with fire. The Northern Command knows this. I'll also speak shortly about the role of the Israeli Air Force. We will enforce this strongly and decisively. This is important because of the tremendous effort we made to reach this point. But more than that, the residents of the North are watching now, and they want to see us resolutely enforce this so they can return to their homes. This is our duty to them, and our duty to ourselves. But first and foremost, it is our duty to the residents of the North. Therefore, we will proceed with unwavering determination in enforcement.
While cross-border hostilities have halted since the ceasefire entered into effect on November 27th, residents of northern Israel who've been displaced since October 8th of 2023 remain distrusting of the security situation along the country's northern front with Lebanon. And while many have visited their abandoned homes, the vast majority have refused to return, lacking a true sense of security.
Until we go back home, feeling fully secured, with a sense of safety and calm, not in fear and dread for more chaos. This ceasefire arrangement doesn't seem very safe, but I hope for the best.
Meanwhile, in southern Lebanon, the IDF Northern Command Commander, Major General Gordin, stressed that the IDF has significantly degraded Hezbollah's ability to wage war.
We are here after the Northern Arrows offensive. The achievement against Hezbollah is very significant, inflicting a severe blow on the organization at all levels and across all its systems. We have dealt a heavy blow to its launch capabilities, significantly reducing its ability to impact Israel's home front. We inflicted severe damage on the organization's leadership and military command, severely degrading its command and control capabilities. Most importantly, we severely damaged the attack capabilities of the Radwan forces. This may be the most significant operational achievement. This is the core of achievement of the ground operations that you carried out here, and we have dismantled its infrastructure, weapon systems, and personnel. We have set Hezbollah back by many years, and this strategic accomplishment allows us greater freedom in decision-making and managing the campaign moving forward.
General Gordin further stressed that while the IDF is currently fulfilling Jerusalem's directives of enforcing the ceasefire, it is also well prepared for a prompt resumption of the war.
If they make a mistake, it will be a big one. We are prepared to return to offense and return to combat. This switch, in the mindset of the soldiers and commanders, must always be ready. Yes, we are now in enforcement mode, but we can very clearly, in a very short time, give the opposite order and move forward again.
Meanwhile, at the IDF's main induction base in central Israel, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, alongside Defense Minister Israel Katz, voiced confidence in the IDF's path to victory. Moreover, amid renewed hostilities between Turkish-backed forces in Syria, which have launched a surprise onslaught against the Russian and Iranian-backed Assad regime, making significant gains over the weekend, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu emphasized that Israel is closely monitoring those developments and it is resolved to act upon any immediate threat to Israel's national security interests.
We are constantly monitoring what is happening in Syria. We are determined to both protect the vital interests of the State of Israel and preserve the achievements of the war. In this sense, we are also very firmly enforcing the ceasefire agreement in Lebanon, and any violation immediately meets a strong response from the IDF. So it was, and so it will be. We will continue to maintain Israel's security.
Turning to Syria, where Al-Qaeda affiliate Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, alongside the Turkish-backed Free Syrian Army, FSA, launched a seemingly coordinated offensive against the Russian-backed Assad Regime and Iranian proxies, gaining significant ground to include the capture of the densely populated city of Aleppo, including strategic junctures and villages in the western rural areas of Aleppo Governorate.
Thank Allah, after hard work, patience, and steadfastness from our brothers the fighters, the city of Aleppo was completely liberated. Thank Allah. And by Allah's will, we will reach Homs and Damascus. By Allah, and as long as He is supporting us, nothing will be too precious to sacrifice for Him. Allah is great.
The Assad regime lost dozens, if not hundreds, of its troops in the first 4 days of battle. Nevertheless, after assessing the situation and reallocating aerial assets to confront the Turkish-backed offensive, Russian aircraft have launched repeated strikes against the advancing Islamist operatives, with reports indicating that the onslaught of HTS and the Turkish-backed FSA has come to a halt. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi rushed to Damascus for a meeting with President Bashar al-Assad, pledging the Islamic Republic's full support in repelling the Sunni Muslim jihadists, as Iran's Shiite Muslim proxies are said to be flooding the area of the contact lines in the battlefield.
They will be confronted, and I am confident that this phase, like the previous ones, will also be passed with pride by the government, the people of Syria, and the Syrian army.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Moreover, if you're blessed by productions which are exclusively donation-based and as such broadcast free of charge, please consider making a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and God willing, we will see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.